3. We are in the section Travels and Enjoyment of Kardam and Devuti in an Aerial Mansion. So, verse number 24 or 34. 34. Yada sasmara rishbham rishinam daitam patim tatra chaste saha istribhi yatra sate saha prajapatihi. When she thought of her great husband, the best of the sages, Kardam Muni, who was very dear to her, Rishinam Daityam Pati, Daityam dear, she along with all the maidservant at once appeared where he was. This is also because of mystic yoga without any effort. It appears from this verse that in the beginning Devuti thought herself to be dirty and dressed in a very niggardly. Seeing herself in this condition and judging herself fit for enjoyment with her husband, she then thought of him. Immediately she appeared before where he was on one seat. Next verse. Bharatoho purasthadatmanam Istri sahasravritam tada Nishmaya tadayoga gatim Sansayam pratayuh padyata. She was amazed to find herself surrounded by thousands of maids in the presence of her husband and to witness his yogic power. Devuti saw everything miraculously done, yet when brought before her husband, she could understand that it was all due to his great yogic mystic power. She understood that nothing was impossible for yogi like Kardam. His power of yoga was that without even using her feet, she came from the water. Kardam Muni को कहो हमें रूम पॉसिबल बाय योगा कुछ करना पड़ेगा. Satam krtamalaснанам vibhrajantim apurvava atmano vibhartim rupam samvit ruchirastanim vidyadhari sahasrena Sevyamanam suvasasam Jata bhavo mimanam ta Aharo yadamrithan Amitrahan. The sage could see the devotee had washed her clean and was shining forth as though no longer his former wife. She had regained her own original beauty as the daughter of Prince. Dressed in excellent robes, her charming breast duly girded, she was waited upon by 1,000 Gandharva girls. O destroyer of the enemy, his fondness for her grew, and he placed her on the aerial mansion. Srila Prabhupada writes, before her marriage, when Devati was brought by her parents before the sage Kardam, she was perfectly beautiful princess. And Kardam Muni remembered her former beauty. But after her marriage, she When she was engaged in the service of the Kardamuni, she neglected to care for her body like princess, since there was no means for such care. Her husband was living in a cottage, and since she was always engaged in serving him, her royal beauty disappeared, and she became just like an ordinary maid servant. Now, after being bathed by the Gandharva girls by the order of the Kardamuni's yogic power, she regained her beauty, and Kardamuni felt attracted to the beauty she had shown before this marriage. The real beauty of a young girl is her breasts. When Kardamuni saw the breast of his wife so nicely decorated, increasing her beauty many times, he was attracted even though he was a great sage. Sripad Shankaracharya has therefore warned the transcendentalists that one who is after transcendental realization should not be attracted by the raised breasts of the woman, which are nothing but an interaction of the fat and blood within the body. Verse number 38. Tasmin alopta mahima priyaya anurakto vidyadharabhira upacharena vapoho vimane vivaraja utakacha kumoda gunavana apichaya ताराभिः आविर्त इवडोः पतिनभ्यस्तः. Last line is analogy. Tarabhir avirta udu pati nabha istaha. Moon surrounded by stars. So aeroplane is compared to the sky, Kardamuni to the moon, and Vidyadhar girls there like the stars, and their eyes are like lotus. So see here. Though seemingly attached to his beloved consort while served by the Gandharva girls, ऊपर विद्याधर लिखा है श्लोक, प्रभुपाद जी उसको गंधर्व कहते हैं. And sages did not lose his glory, which was mystery over his self, was mastery over his self. In the aerial mansion, Kardamuni with his consort shone as charming as the moon in the midst of the stars in the sky, which causes rows of the lilies to open in ponds at night. So the mansion was in the sky, and therefore the comparison to the full moon and star is very beautifully composed in this verse. Kardamuni looked like a full moon, and the girls are surrounding his wife. Devuti seemed like the stars. On a full moon night, the stars and the moons together form a beautiful constellation. Similarly, in that aerial mansion in the sky, Kardamuni with his beautiful wife and the damsels surrounding them appeared like the moon and the star on the full moon day. But the lilies, Chakravarti Pad writes this. The sage, his body served by the girls shown in that aeroplane, he possessed many blossoming lotuses. Apiviha means very beautiful. The sage was like the full moon. The aeroplane was like a sky. Women were like the star, and their eyes were like lotuses. Verse number 39. Tena ishtaloka pavihara kula chalendra Droneshu ho anangaha shakka marutta saubhagasu Siddhahiranyuto dyumani pata shiva svanaso Reme chiram dhanavatallalna varoti. This is the description of the places which they visited. In that aerial mansion, they travel to the pleasure valley of Mount Sumeru. Mount Sumeru is Kul Achal Indra. Achal means mountain which cannot move. Kulachal Indra, the king of the mountain. Indra is a king. Kulachal mountain, Sumeru, Mount Meru. Which were rendered all more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breezes that stimulated passion in these valleys, the treasure of the gods. Kuvera, surrounded by beautiful women and praised by the Siddhas, generally enjoy pleasant. Kardam Muni, also surrounded by the beautiful damsels, and his wife went there, enjoyed for many, many years. Now, see here. Using the aeroplane, praised by the Siddhas, Kardam, surrounded by damsels like the Kuber, enjoyed for a long time in the valleys of Meru mountain, the pleasant ground of the deities of the 8 direction, with its pleasant breeze, companions of the Cupid, and which revibrated with the sound of the auspicious water walls of the Ganga. Water walls of the Ganga. Should be waterfalls of the Ganga. Chakravarti Srila Prabhupada. Kuber is one of the 8 demigods who is in charge of different direction of the universe. So direction kitne hai? How many directions you know? 10. Out of the 10 direction, 8 direction have their presiding deity. Unko kehte hain Digpal. So now see, it is said that Indra is in charge of the eastern side of the universe. Digpal of the east, Purav, whereas heavenly planet and paradise is situated. Similarly, Agni is in charge of southeastern. कौन सी कौन हो गई? अग्नेय. अग्नेय उसका नाम ही अग्नेय है, इसलिए अग्नि उसका प्रिजाइडिंग वो अग्नेय हो गई. Portion of Yama is the demigod who punishes sinners in the charge of the southern portion, Dakshan. Niriti is in charge of southwest part of the universe. Neruta. It's called Neruta because after the name of the demigod in charge of that Neruta. Yeah, it's called Neruti. Varun, the demigod in charge of the water, is in charge of the western portion. Pascham, Varuna. Vayu, who controls the air and who has wings to travel in the air, is in charge of northwestern part of the universe. Huh? Y1. Y1 is Vayu. Okay? Y1. Kuber, the treasure of the demigods, is in charge of the north part of the universe, Uttar. हिमालय जाते हैं तो कुबेर ऊपर, कुबेर का गंधमादन पर्वत है. So it's that's the north. तो पहले हम ये नाम नहीं समझते थे क्यों इनके नाम ऐसे, right? Now it is very clear that names are because our corners are after the names of the Digpal, the director of those directions. ठीक है, Neruti, वायवान, आग्नेय और कौन सा? ईशान. ईशान में कौन है? ईशान का कौन इंचार्ज है? ईशान. ईशान ईस्ट नहीं, ईस्ट वेस्ट नॉर्थ साउथ इनके तो नाम याद करो फिर कौन है. ईस्ट का इंद्र और वेस्ट का वरुण, हाँ ना, और नॉर्थ का कुबेर. तो बाकी बचा साउथ का कौन है? यम. ठीक है, साउथ का यम है. बाकी 4 कोनों के कौन है? नृति, आग्नेय, वायवान और ईशान. तो नैऋत्य का नैऋत्य, वायवान का आग्नेय का आग्नेय, बाकी ईशान का कौन हो गया? क्या नाम? सोम, इसमें लिखा ही नहीं है क्या? हाँ हाँ, नहीं यहाँ कहाँ है ईशान, है ही नहीं ना इसमें, इसमें साथ ही है ना, तो एक रह गया ईशान. All these demigods take pleasure in valleys of the Mount Meru, which is situated somewhere between the sun and earth. In the aerial mansion, Kardam Muni traveled throughout the 8 directions controlled by the different demigods described above. And as the demigods go to the Mount Meru, he also went there to enjoy life. When one is surrounded by the young, beautiful girls, sex stimulation naturally becomes prominent. Kardam Muni was sexually stimulated and he enjoyed his wife for many, many years in that part of the Mount Meru. But his sex indulgence was praised by many, many siddhas, siddha beings who has attained perfection because it was intended to produce good progeny for the good of the universal affairs. So इसमें 7 लिखे हैं, एक रह गया ईशान, राइट? ईशान का मून है सोम, लाड हाँ, ये नॉर्थ ईस्ट हो गया ना, ईशान नॉर्थ ईस्ट है मेरे घर, नहीं नॉर्थ ईस्ट, ईशान नॉर्थ ईस्ट. उसका मिला को गूगल गुरु क्या कहता है? सोम. Dyu Dhuni is Ganga. Dyu Dhuni. Dyu means Sur Dhuni. His name, another name is Sur Dhuni. Ganga का एक नाम क्या है? Sur Dhuni. And Sur means heaven, and Dyu means also heaven. Dyu Dhuni or Sur Dhuni. The valleys that auspicious sound as a Ganga water fell from high above. He was surrounded by many women like a Kubera. किसी और का कुबेर की तरह लिखा है कि एज कुबेर जा रहा था कोई, सराउंडेड बाय सो मेनी. फर्स्ट कैंटो में है. When Yudhishthir was going to see भीष्म पितामह, वहां लिखा है जैसे कुबेर गुहिकों के साथ घिरा हुआ जा रहा था. विश्रम्भके सुरसने नंदने पुष्पभद्रके मानसै चैत्रारथ्यः च सरे में रमया रतः. So satisfied by his wife, he enjoyed in the aerial mansion not only on the Mount Meru but in the different gardens known as Vishrambhaka, Sursan, Nandan, Pushpabhadrak and Chetrarath, and by the Manas Sarovar lake. These are the garden of the Devatas. Manas means Man Sarovar, yes? What is the point? Microphone? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Previously, we read that how Kardam Muni wanted just to beget a child and wanted to renounce. But here we find that like the description is in the purport also that how for many years he's enjoying. So like, did he like got?
They said they are enjoying, but actually, for begetting children, they came back down on the earth at their own hermitage. That will come. So they were just traveling there. is just excursion. The children are born back on the earth, not up in the heaven. हेवन में कोई बच्चा पैदा ही नहीं होता है, पैदा होता है नीचे फेंक देते हैं। दो पैदा हुए थे, एक बाली और एक सुग्रीव, दोनों को ऊपर से नीचे फेंक दिया। एक बार सूर्य उगा नहीं, शराब दिया था किसी चेस्ट वुमन ने, तो वरुण को छुट्टी मिली, ड्राइवर को। वो चला गया इंद्र के वहाँ, लेकिन अप्सरा बन के गया। इंद्र को नई अप्सरा पसंद आ गई, बच्चा पैदा हो गया, और उस बच्चा हो गया बाली, वो सारी है, नहीं, इंद्र का बेटा बाली है। और फिर वापस आया तो सूर्य ने कहा तुम कहाँ गए थे, कल दिखे नहीं यहाँ। बोला मैं इंद्र के वहाँ गया था, अप्सरा बन गया था। बोला कैसे लगता था, देखो बन गया, इसको पसंद आ गया, सूर्य को, हो गया सुग्रीव पैदा। अब दोनों अनवांटेड थे, ऊपर से वापस धरती पे भेज दिए। वो फिर यहाँ धरती पे आ गए थे दोनों, इसलिए ऊपर कुछ नहीं पैदा हुआ, सब नीचे वापस आ गए। उसके बाद बच्चे पैदा किए, तब तक सिर्फ घूम रहे थे, साइट सीइंग पे थे। हाँ, मैनी ईयर्स धरती के हो गए, वहाँ के तो यहाँ के 6 महीने, वहाँ का 1 दिन है। तो यहाँ धरती के कुछ साल गिनते हैं, वहाँ तो उनको कुछ दिन ही लगे होंगे, ऐसा समझना चाहिए। देयर इज अ डिफरेंस इन टाइम आल्सो। ये तो स्वर्ग में घूम रहे, नंदन कानन तो स्वर्ग का गार्डन है, तो वहाँ का टाइम तो ऐसा है कि यहाँ का 6 महीने, उनका यहाँ का 1 दिन है। तो यहाँ के कई साल गुजर गए, लेकिन वहाँ के कई दिन गुजर गए। भ्राजिष्णो नः विमानेन कामजेनः महीयसा वैमानिकाम् अत्याशेत कर्लोकान् व्यथा अनिलः। यथा अनिल, like a air, he can travel anywhere. He travel in that way through the various planets as the air passes uncontrolled in every direction. Coursing through the air in that great and splendid aerial mansion which could fly at his will, he surpassed even the demigods. So Srila Prabhupada writes, planets occupied the demigods are restricted to their own orbit. But Kardam Muni, by his yogic power, could travel all over the different directions of the universe without restriction. The living entities who are within the universe are called conditioned soul. That is, they are not free to move anywhere, everywhere. We are inhabitants of this earthly globe. We cannot move freely to other planets. In the modern age, man is trying to go to the other planets, but so far he has been unsuccessful. It is not possible to travel to any other planet because by the law of nature, even the demigod cannot move from one planet to the other. But Kardam Muni, by his yogic power, could surpass the strength of the demigods and travel in space in all directions. The comparison here is very suitable. The words Yatha Anilaha indicate that as the air is free to move anywhere without restriction, so the Kardam Munis unrestrictedly traveled in all directions of the universe. So nobody can go beyond the jurisdiction of their planet. Therefore it's called Baddha Jeev. This is another meaning of Baddha Jeev. Baddha Jeev is bound by 3 modes of material nature, is Baddha Jeev. Is conditioned by his karma as a Baddha Jeev. But he cannot move from one planet in which he is born, is also the meaning of Baddha Jeev. So there are different meanings of Baddha Jeev now, right? एक मीनिंग ये है बद्ध जीव की, वो अपने प्लानेट से और कहीं नहीं जा सकता ऐसी शरीर में. But exception are always there. Some exception are always there. Arjun went in the same body to the heaven. Kim durapadanam desham punsham udam chetasam यैरा आश्रितस्तीर्थपदस् चरणो व्यसनात्ययः. The important is Tirthpad. What is difficult to achieve for a determined man who has taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet, Tirthpad. His feet are the source of sacred rivers like Ganga, which put an end to the dangers of mundane life. What is difficult to achieve for those faith with full absorbed mind who take shelter of the feet of the Supreme Lord, which is the destroyer of all misfortune. The word Yair Ashrita Tirthpadas Charana are significant here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Tirthpad. Ganga is called the sacred river because it emanates from the toes of Vishnu. Ganga is meant to eradicate all the material distresses of the conditioned soul. For any living entity, therefore, who has taken shelter of the holy lotus feet of the Lord, nothing is impossible. Kardam Muni is special, not because he was a great mystic, but because he was a great devotee. Therefore, it is said here that for the great devotee like Kardam Muni, nothing is impossible. Although yogis can perform wonderful feats, as the Kardam has already displayed, Kardam was more than a yogi because he was a great devotee of the Lord. Therefore, he was more glorious than an ordinary yogi. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, yogi nam api sarvesham madgate antratma shardhavan yo bhajate mam sayuktatvo matiha. So far, person like Kardam Muni, there is no question of being conditioned. He was already liberated soul. Already I told you in the morning class. He was not conditioned soul. He was already liberated. So what you ask, he was not fit for liberation. Some are not fit for liberation. I think Nimai Nitai was asking. So this is the purport which says, Kardam was not conditioned. He was already liberated soul. And better than the demigods, who are also conditioned. Although he was enjoying with his wife and many other women, he was above material conditional life. Therefore, the word Vyasana Atyayaha is used to indicate that he was beyond the position of conditioned soul. He was transcendent to all the material limitation. Vyasana Atyayaha. Vyasan generally nashe ko कहते हैं, atyaha. So he was not conditioned, he was free from all those. Yes. क्या नाम आपका? माधव. माधव सुंदर जी, क्या प्रश्न है आपका?
करदम मुनि के साथ भगवान आए थे उनके सामने, फिर भी उन्होंने लिबरेशन क्यों नहीं मांगा?
हाँ,
फिर भी उन्होंने लिबरेशन क्यों नहीं मांगा भगवान को? तो वहाँ पे प्रभुपाद मेंशन करते कि एवरीबॉडी इज नॉट फिट फॉर लिबरेशन.
उन्होंने लिबरेशन इसलिए नहीं मांगा क्योंकि वो उसको भेजा ही गया था कपिल देव के पिता बन के देवहूति के घर में भगवान के अवतार के लिए. उसका जो रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी था उसको पूरा करने के आए, उसके बाद लिबरेशन के लिए चले गए. ये उनको रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी गई थी. भाई भगवान का बाप बनना कोई कंडीशन सोल का काम तो नहीं हो सकता ना. हाँ, भगवान का पिता होना कंडीशन सोल नहीं हो सकता है. और ये उसकी एक लीला का पार्ट है. ये दे आर पात्र ऑफ लीला. भाई वसुदेव देवकी या यशोदानंद ये तो लीला के पात्र हो जाते हैं समय के साथ. तो उनके लिबरेशन तो उनके लिए कुछ नहीं. दे आर ऑलरेडी लिबरेटेड. सो दे आर देयर फॉर सम पर्पस. तो भगवान से आने से, भगवान के अवतार से पहले उनके एसोसिएट पहले आ जाते हैं, उनके आने की भूमिका तैयार करते हैं. इसलिए तो यू शुड नॉट आस्क फॉर लिबरेशन. बहुत जगह पे देखो आप, जब ऋषभ देव के जन्म से पहले उसके पिता ने यज्ञ कराया था ब्राह्मणों से, महाराज क्या नाम है, अग्निधर नहीं, नाभि, महाराज नाभि ने. तो वो भगवान प्रकट हुए, भगवान लॉर्ड अपीयर्ड. ब्राह्मण ने कहा महाराज बस हम क्या कहें, भगवान आप आ तो गए हैं, मांगना कुछ नहीं चाहिए, लेकिन हमारा यजमान आप जैसा बेटा चाहता है. तो नाभि भगवान के धाम जा सकता था, लेकिन उसको ऋषभदेव के बाप बनने के लिए भगवान से ये बेनेडिक्शन लेना था। तो ये लीला के पात्र होते हैं, वो लिबरेशन के लिए मांगने चाहिए। वो लिबरेटेड पहले है, लिबरेशन क्यों मांगे? अगर कंडीशन हो तो लिबरेशन मांगे ना, देवर ऑलरेडी लिबरेटेड। उनको क्या मांगना था? भगवान की इच्छा की पूर्ति के लिए, जो भगवान चाहते थे वो मांगना था। They simply asked what Lord wanted them to ask. They said they are already liberated. Prekshatva bhuvo golam patanyahi yavan swasangsthaya bahavascharya mahayogi Swasharmaya Nyavartala Tata Nyavartata. After showing his wife the globe of the universe, everything was gold, round globe, and its different arrangement, full of many wonders, the great yogi Kardam Muni returned to his own hermitage. अभी सिर्फ घूमे हैं. After showing his wife the greatly amazing territory of the earth with its structure, the great yogi returned to his hermitage. All the planets here are described gola, round. Every planet is round, and each planet is different shelter, just like islands in the great ocean. Planets are sometimes called Dvipa or Varsha. This earth planet is called Bharatvarsha because it was ruled by King Bharata. Another significant word used in this verse is Bahava Ascharyam, many wonderful things. This indicates that the different planets are distributed all over the universe in 8 directions, and each and every one of them is wonderful in itself. Each planet has its particular climatic influences and particular type of inhabitant, and is completely equipped with everything, including the beauty of the seasons. In the Brahma Santa also, it is similarly stated, Vibhoti Bhinnam, one. On each and every planet there are different opulences. It cannot be expected that one planet is exactly like another. By God's grace, by the nature's law, each and every planet is made up differently and has different wonderful features. All such wonders are personally experienced by Kardam Muni while he traveled with his wife, yet he could return again to his humble hermitage. He showed his princess wife that although he was living in the hermitage, he had the power to go everywhere and do anything by mystic yoga. That is the perfection of yoga. One cannot become a perfect yogi simply by showing some sitting posture. Not by such sitting posture or so-called meditation can one become God, as is being advertised. Foolish persons are misled into believing that simply by some caricature of meditation and sitting posture one can become God within 6 months. Now here is the example of perfect yogi. He could travel all over the universe. Similarly, there's a description of the Durvasa Muni. He can travel to the Vaikuntha, to the Kailash, to the Satyalok. Travel to the space. Actually, the perfect yogi can do that. But even if one can travel all over the universe and show wonderful feats like Kardam Muni, he cannot be compared to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose powers are inconceivable. Energy can never be attained by any condition or liberated soul. By the action of Kardam Muni, we can understand that in spite of his immense mystic power, he remained a devotee of the Lord. That is the real position of every living entity. Verse number 44. Now he is going to beget children. Vibhajya navadhatmanam na manavim surata utsakam ramam niramayam reme Varshapuggan Muhurtava. After coming back to his hermitage, he divided himself into 9 personalities just to give pleasure to Devuti, the daughter of Manu, who was eager for sex life. In that way, he enjoyed with her for many, many years, which passed just like a moment. So Prabhupada writes in the purport why he divided into 9, because the passion in the woman is 9 times more than the man. That's the purport. And then there's a comparison between the Kardam Muni and Sobri Muni, and then both are compared to the Supreme Lord, who can become million times more than that. So no yogi can compare to the Supreme Lord. यहाँ सोबरी के लिए प्रभुपाद ने 8 लिखा है. सोबरी बिकम एक्चुअली 49. हाँ 50 फार्म, वो मानता था कि 50 लड़कियां थी, 50 गर्ल्स थी, तो वो 50 का फार्म. यहाँ 8 लिखा है. देखो यहाँ सोबरी का कितना लिखा है इंटू, हाँ करदम में 9 एंड सोबरी in 8 लिखा है ना, 8 लिखा है. बट द कृष्ण कैन बी इन मैनी अनंत रूपम. ओके, नेक्स्ट वर्स. Verse number 5. Tasmin viman uta kristam shayam rati karim shita chabudhyatam kalam pitya pichena sangata. In that area mentioned, Devuti, in the company of her handsome husband, situated on the excellent bed, that increased sexual desire, could not realize how much time was passing. Now Srila Prabhupada writes, this is time past, nobody knows. Verse 46. Evam yoga anubhavena Damapatyoho ramamanayoho shatam vyatiyoha sharadaha kamalalasayoho manak. While the couple who eagerly longed for sexual pleasure were thus enjoying themselves by virtue of mystic powers, 100 atoms passed like brief span of time. 100 साल गुजर गए. कब की बात है ये? सत्ययुग की. तो 100 साल कितना हुआ? 1 लाख का 100 साल कितना हुआ? Nothing, no? So it was nothing. Monarch in short time, 47. Tasyamādhataretastam bhāvayan atmarama vita atmanatma vita. Okay. Nodha vidhaya rupam swam sarva anusankalpa vida vibhoho. The powerful Kadam Muni was the knower of everyone's heart, and he could grant whatever one desired. Knowing the spiritual soul, he regarded her as the half of his body. Dividing himself into 9 forms, he impregnated Devuti with 9 discharges of the semen. Since Kardam Muni could understand that Devuti wanted many children, at the first chance he begot 9 children at one time. He is described here as a Vibhu, the most powerful master. By his yogic power, he could at once produce 9 daughters in the womb of Devhuti. By thinking of woman at the time of impregnation, the female child will be produced. Kardam knew that his wife desired daughters. He was a knower of the soul by his intelligence. Thus he was detached. Because his desire was less, his semen was less, and thus female children were produced. Puman punsho adhike shukre stri bhavad adhike striya. A male is born when the man is stronger, the female is born when the female is stronger. Now last verse of this section. Atassa sushve sadyo devahuti striyah prajaha sarvatascharo swarangayo lohita utpalla gandhayo. Immediately afterward, on the same day, Devhuti gave birth to 9 female children, all charming in every limb and fragrant with the scent of the red lotus flower. एक ही दिन में 9 बच्चों को पैदा, उसी दिन. ये मिस्टिक पावर है, योगा का कमाल है. सिर्फ योगा से हो गए बच्चे पैदा हो गए. एक भी नहीं पैदा किया रामदेव ने, सिर्फ टूथपेस्ट है. कोई योगा में कुछ नहीं हुआ है. सरदार नाटक रियल योगीज. किसी ने कहा सब कुछ बना रहा है. अरे वो बस बच्चे नहीं बना सकता है, बाकी सब कुछ. उस महल में लिविंग एंटिटी नहीं, लिविंग एंटिटी करदम नहीं क्रिएट कर सकता. वो विद्याधर कहीं से मंगा लिए थे अपने योग पावर से. वो भूवलोक से मंगाए थे, भूवलोक से मंगा लिए थे. उसकी प्राप्ति की सिद्धि थी ना, तो उसने जो हम भूवलोक है, भूवलोक में रहते हैं ये गंधर्व और विद्याधर, उनको वहाँ से मंगा लिया था. कोई नया लिविंग एंटिटी कोई नहीं बना सकता. नो, नॉट पॉसिबल. हाँ, कहीं से बुलाई. वो प्राप्ति सिद्धि से किसी को भी बुला सकता था. अच्छा हुआ हमारे में से किसी को नहीं बुलाया. बुलाया होता तो घूम लेते, नहीं मुफ्त में. वो सब सिद्ध पुरुषों को बुलाया था. हाँ, ये योगी बुला सकते हैं. At one time she gave birth to female children, all with beautiful limbs, with the fragrance of the red lotuses. Devhuti was too sexually excited, therefore she discharged more ova, and the 9 daughters were born. It is said in the Samriti Shastra as well as in the Ayurveda that when the discharge of the male is greater, the male children are born, same thing. All the daughters, however, were beautiful. Sadhya means in one day. Last verse of this, no, end. Now the last section. 49-57, Devhuti played Kardam to stay back. अब 9 लड़कियां हो गई, करदम ने बोरी बिस्तर बांधा. हाँ, लोटा लंगोटा उठाया, बोला हम चले. So it means Kardam was not attached. Patim sa pravarjashyantam tada lakshayo asati bahi samyamana vilakshavena hridayena vidyoyata. When she saw her husband about to leave home, she smiled externally, but at heart she was agitated and distressed. Vidyutya, being distressed, vidyuta. अंदर तो विद्युत का मतलब बिजली. हाँ, अंदर तो जल रही थी लेकिन बाहर से हृदय न, दिल में तो आग लगी हुई थी। विलकवे न सम्यता, सम्य न माना, बाहर से सम्य माना मीन्स स्माइलिंग, शी वॉज स्माइलिंग। ये तो हो गया। ओके, परपर्ट। देवूति वॉज टू सेक्सुअली, तो ये भी हो गया ना। ओके, ये when she saw her husband about to leave home, she smiled externally, but at heart she was agitated and distraught. Kardam Muni finished his household affair quickly by his mystic power. Building up the castle in the air, traveling all over the universe with his wife in the company of the beautiful girls, begetting children were finished. And now, according to his promise to leave home for his real concern of spiritual realization after impregnating his wife, he was about to go away. Seeing her husband about to leave, Devahuti was very disturbed, but to satisfy her husband, she was smiling. The example of Kardam Muni should be understood very clearly. A person whose main concern is Krishna consciousness, even if he is entrapped in household life, should always be ready to leave household enticement as soon as possible. Okay, verse number 50. लिखन्ति अधोमुखी भूमेन पदा नखमणि श्रिया उवाच ललितां वाचं निरुद्धाश्रुः कलां शनैः. She stood and sketched the ground with her foot, which was radiant with the luster of her gem-like nails. Her head bent down, she spoke in a slow yet charming accent, suppressing her tears. Devahuti was so beautiful that her toenails appeared just like pearls. And as she scratched the ground, it appeared as if pearls had been thrown on the ground. When a woman scratches the ground with her foot, it is the sign that her mind is very disturbed. These signs were sometimes exhibited by gopis before Krishna. When the gopis came in the dead of the night and Krishna asked them to return to their homes, gopis also scratched the ground like this because their minds were very disturbed. Devahutirvacha sarvam tad bhagavan mahyam upovaha pratishrutam athapi me parpannaya abhayam datumharasi. At least give me fearlessness. You are going now, the daughters will marry to their husband. So where will I go? So Sri Devahuti said, my dear Lord, you have fulfilled all the promises you gave me. Yet because I am your surrendered soul, Parpanaya, you should give me fearlessness too. Chakravarti Pad writes, O Master, you have accomplished what you promised to me, but you should also give fearlessness to me, who am surrendered unto you. Devahuti requested her husband to grant her something without fear. As a wife, she was a fully surrendered soul to her husband, and it is the responsibility of husband to give his wife fearlessness. How one awards fearlessness to his subordinate is mentioned in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. They say very famous verse. Pita nasasyata, Guru nasasyata, that is the verse. So it says, One who cannot get free from the cultures of the death is dependent, and he should not become a spiritual master, nor husband, nor kinsman, nor father, nor mother, etc. It's the duty of superior to give fearlessness to the subordinate, to take charge of someone. Therefore, either as a father, mother, spiritual master, relative, or husband, one must accept the responsibility to give his ward freedom from fearful situation of material existence. Material existence is always fearful and full of anxiety. Devut is saying, you have given me all sort of material comforts by your yogic power, and since you are now prepared to go away, you must give me your last award so that I may get free from this material conditioned life. It means now you enlighten me that I can go back home, back to Godhead. It is also necessary for you to arrange for marriage of 9 daughters, so same Mother Devuti. You gave birth to the daughters, who will get them married? So you are living, huh? That's the mood. So this is the verse. Brahman duhitribhi tubhyam vimirgyaha patya samaha kaschid syan me vishokaya tvahi pravarjite vanam. Hey Brahman, hey my husband, दुहित्री भी तो भ्यान, तुम्हारी बेटियां विमर्ग्य शिकार करेंगी. विमर्ग्य जनरली मीन्स शिकार करना, किसी को जाके पकड़ना. पत्य समा, अपने अपने पतियों को ढूंढेंगी, उनके पास चली जाएंगी. काचित श्यान में विलोका विशोका, मैं कैसे शोक से मुक्त होंगी. हु विल गिव मी फियरलेसनेस. त्वयि प्रवर्जते वनम, आप जब वन में चले जाओगे, व्हेन यू विल गो टू द फॉरेस्ट, हु विल गिव मी प्रोटेक्शन. The girls will find out their husband and go. My dear Brahman, as far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their own suitable husband and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi? It is said that the father himself becomes the son in another form. The father and son are therefore considered to be non-different. A widow who has her son is actually not a widow because she has the representative of her husband. Similarly, Devtu is indirectly asking Kardamani to leave a representative so that in his absence she might be relieved of her anxieties by suitable son. The householder is not expected to remain at home for all his days. After getting his sons and daughter married, a householder can retire from household life, leaving his wife in the charge of grown-up sons. That is social convention in the Vedic system. Devut is indirectly asking that in his absence from the home, there is at least one male child to give her relief from her anxieties. This relief means a spiritual instruction. Relief does not mean material comfort. Material comforts will end with the end of the body, but spiritual instructions will not end. क्या कहेंगे इसको टेक्निकली? Vapu and Vani. Vapu will disappear in due course some time, but Vani will continue. So instruction will continue. So material comforts will end with the end of the body, but the spiritual instruction will not end. It will go on with the spirit soul. Instruction in spiritual advancement is necessary, but without having a worthy son, how could Devuti advance in spiritual knowledge? It is the duty of the husband to liquidate his debts to his wife. The wives give her sincere service to the husband, and he becomes indebted to her because one cannot accept service from his subordinate without giving him something in exchange. The spiritual master cannot, ये बात भी सुनने जैसी है. The spiritual master cannot accept service from a disciple without awarding him spiritual instruction. That is the reciprocation of love and duty. Thus Devati reminded her husband Karda Muni that she has rendered him faithful service, even considering the situation on the basis of the liquidating his debts towards his wife, he must give a male child before he leaves. Indirectly, Devati requests her husband to remain at home few days more, or at least until male child is born. So, one should not accept this service without giving him something in back. Not only spiritual instruction, but something. Prabhupada, लास्ट डेज में जिन जो पर्सनल सर्वेंट थे सबको कुछ फाइनेंशियल उनको पैसे 10,000 कुछ क्या सबको दिए. दे सर्व्ड मी सो आई शुड गिव देम समथिंग. जो सर्विस करते हैं उनको आई मीन दिस इज व्हाट जो फिलॉसफी लिखी है इट इज प्रैक्टिकल. Nobody should accept any service from anybody until unless he can give some instruction, spiritual instruction, or some benefit to him, at least to grow spiritually, not materially. Now the word here is Vishokaya Gyan Upadeshaya. This is the Sanskrit commentary by Sridhar Swami, Bhavartha Deepika. Tatra dainyam nivedyati tubhyam tava duhitribhi swayam evatmanah samayoga patyoho vimargyaha iti dainyatam praptam sansara bhayam upari krtayat kachid in vilokaya jnanopadesha. I need somebody after the daughters are married, somebody to give me jnanopadesha. Why? To Vishokaya, to make me free from lamentation. So Kapil gave her Jnana Upadesha. Sankhya is Jnana. 53. Etavatalam kalena vyatikarantena me prabho Indyartha prasangena parityaktaha paratmanaha. Now Devati is lamenting, until now we have simply wasted so much of our time in sense gratification, neglecting to cultivate knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada writes, human life is not meant to be wasted like that of animals in sense gratificatory activities. Animal always engage in sense gratification, eating, eating, sleeping, the same thing, 4 things. So I think this purport is so simple. So far we have these daughters and we have enjoyed material life in the aerial mansion, traveling all over the universe. These boons have come by your grace, but they have all been for sense gratification. Now there must be something for my spiritual advancement. Oh, now Kardam is saying to her like this, oh, by your clever words, do you want more material pleasure from me? In shyness she replies, I have wasted so much time in sense pleasure since I have rejected the Supreme Lord. This means that time has been wasted. So now, verse number 54. Indriyartheshu sajjantaya prasangastvai me kritaha ajantaya param bhavam tathapi astavaha abhyayaya me. She is saying, not knowing your transcendental situation, how great you are. Usually when we live together, we never really estimate the greatness of the person we lived with. So many people were living with Prabhupada. The hippies, they never understood what the position of Prabhupada is. And many people did not get the real benefit from Prabhupada. So this is like that, not knowing your transcendental situation. I have loved you while remaining attached to the object of senses. Nonetheless, let the affinity I have developed for you rid me of all fear. I have associated with you while being attached to enjoyment, not knowing your superior condition. As a devotee with great detachment, still you should give me fearlessness. Prabhupada writes, Devotee is lamenting her position. As a woman, she had to love someone. Somehow or other, she came to love Kardam Muni, but without knowing of his spiritual advancement. Kardam Muni could understand devotee's heart. Generally, our women desire material enjoyment. They are called less intelligent because they are mostly prone to material enjoyment. But she did not know that he was so advanced in spiritual realization. Her plea was that even though she did not know the glories of her great husband, because she had taken shelter of him, she must be delivered from material entanglement. Association with a great personality is most important. Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Kahe. The association of a great saintly person is very important, because even if one is not advanced in knowledge, simply by associating with a great saintly person, one can immediately make considerable advancement in spiritual life. As a woman, as an ordinary wife, Devhuti become attached to Kardam Muni in order to satisfy her sense enjoyment and other material necessities. But actually, she associated with the great personality. Now she understood this, and she wanted to utilize the advantage of the association of her great husband. Chakravarti Pad writes, people are delivered by even a moment's association with you. People are delivered even by moment's association with you, a great devotee. There are two reasons why I did not get deliverance even after many years of association with you. I was attached to sense pleasure, number one. And number two, I did not know your supreme position. You have great detachment and are a great devotee of the Lord, since you are inclined to give up all. Possessiveness in an instant, give mercy to me, an offender. This is the mood of devotee. Two reasons. One, I was living with you, but only for my personal sense enjoyment. Number two, I never understood your greatness, that you are a great devotee and so much detached that you are living in a moment. So I am offender. Please do some favor to me. 51. Sangoya sangshrutera heto asatsoho vyeto adhiya Saiva sadhushoho kirto nyasangatvayaya kalpate. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage. But the same type of association performed with saintly person leads to the path of liberation, even if performed without knowledge. Which example do you think Prabhupada should give? Even without knowledge. Gopis with Krishna is too high example. It's a good example, but it's too high. And a purpose example is there, so I'm saying, which example do you think? Let us see. The association of saintly person is in any way bears the same result. For example, Lord Krishna met many kinds of living entities, and some treated him as an enemy, and some treated him as an agent for sense gratification. It is generally said that gopis were attached to Krishna for sense attraction, and yet they become first-class devotees of the Lord. Kamsa, Shishupal, Dandavakar, and others demons, however, were related to Krishna as enemies. But whether they are associated with Krishna as enemies or for sense gratification, out of fear or as pure devotees, they all got liberation. That is the result of association with the Lord. Even if one does not understand who he is, the result have the same efficacy. Association with a great saintly person also result in liberation, just as whether one goes towards fire knowingly and unknowingly. This is the example I was saying. Common man says, you go to the fire, if you are an educated professor or an innocent child, fire will burn. What is the other example like that? Take medicine. You take medicine, you know medicine or don't know, it works. Take poison, you know or don't know, it works. So these are the other common examples. Huh? Prasad, yes, prasad. You knowingly unknowingly eat, you will be transformed. Yes, prasad. What else? Association with a great saintly person always results in liberation, just as whether one goes towards fire knowingly or unknowingly, fire will make one warm. Devati expressed her gratefulness, for although she wanted to associate with Kardamuni only for sense gratification, because he was spiritually great, she was sure to be liberated by his benediction. Association with the devotees such as you should not at all be in vain. In ignorance should be applied for both phrases. Verse 56. Neha yat karma dharmaya na vairagya kalpate na tirtha padasevayai जीवन अपि मृतो ही सहा. That person is dead. Neha karma dharmaya na vairagya kalpate na tirtha pad sevaya jivan api mrito hi sa. So, anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to the religious life, if he is not following dharma, number one. Number two, anyone whose religious ritualistic performance do not rise him to the renunciation, vairagya. Number three, anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to the devotional service, tirtha-pad sevaya, must be considered dead, although he is breathing. So she's saying, I am dead because I have all these facilities, but I have not taken the benefit. A person whose action do not lead to dharma, to detachment or to service of the Lord's feet should living actually dead. Devuti's statement that since she was attached to living with her husband for sense gratification, which does not lead to the liberation from material entanglement, her life was simply a waste of time. Any work one performs that does not lead to the state of religious life is useless activity. Everyone is by nature inclined to some sort of work. And when that work leads one to the religious life, and religious life leads one to the renunciation, and renunciation leads one to the devotional service, one attains perfection of work. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, any work that does not lead ultimately to the standard of devotional service is cause of bondage. In the material world, yagna artha karmano anyatha karma bandhanaha. Unless one is gradually elevated to the position of devotional service, beginning from his natural activity, he is to be considered a dead body. Work which does not lead one to understanding of Krishna consciousness is considered useless. Chakravarti Pai writes, what are you requesting? What are you requesting? Kardam asked. You have such wealth. Enjoy your objects. You have this mansion, big, aerial, all the facilities, these girls, emeralds, jewels, everything. What is the problem? Enjoy this wealth. He whose actions are not for the purpose of dharma, detachment and service, concerned only with body and senses, is already dead. So I am already dead by living without you. Last verse for today. Similar verses to this are 10:45, 10:45:8, 2:3:23, 6:10:10. These other quotes which are similar, if we don't get dharma, renunciation, and shelter of the lotus feet, then life is useless. Saham bhagavato nyonam vanchita mayaya dridham yatvam vimuktidam prapya nanmukshahi bandhana. My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insurmountably illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. Sa aham bhagavato nyunam vanchita mayaya dridham. I am cheated by the illusory energy of the Lord. Any intelligent man should utilize good opportunities. The first opportunity is human life. We got it. Second, opportunity to take birth in a suitable family where there is cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is rarely obtained. The greatest opportunity is to have the association of saintly person. Devotee was conscious that she was born as the daughter of an emperor. She was sufficiently educated and cultured, and at last she got the Kardam Muni, a saintly person, and a great yogi as her husband. Still, if she did not get liberation from the entanglement of material energy, then certainly she would be cheated by insurmountable illusory energy. Actually, the illusory energy, material energy, is cheating everyone. People do not know what they are doing when they worship the material energy in the form of goddess Kali or Durga for material boons. They ask, Mother, give me great riches, give me good wife, give me fame, give me victory. But such devotees of the goddess Maya or Durga do not know that they are being cheated by that goddess material achievement. That goddess material achievement is actually no achievement, because as soon as one is illusioned by material gifts, he becomes more and more entangled, and there is no question of liberation. One should be intelligent enough to know how to utilize material asset for the purpose of spiritual realization. That is called Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga. Whatever we have, we should use as a service to the Supreme Person. It is advised in Bhagavad Gita, Swakarmanam tam abhrichya. One should try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's assets. There are many forms of service to the Supreme Lord. What are the forms? And anyone can render service unto him according to the best of his ability. So we have finished this. I am an example of such a dead person. I am a living person who is dead. Sa aham. I did not desire liberation, nan vimukshaya. She speaks with tears in eyes and choked voice. So tomorrow we have to start the next chapter. And this chapter is renunciation of Kardam Muni. And this chapter contains in the 24th chapter describe birth of Kapila, the words of Brahma. Words of Brahma are, when Kapil is born, Brahma comes there and he speak about Kapil's glories, and then he speak about daughters to be given to different sages. The marriage of Kardam's daughter, and the Kardam leaving for the forest after praising the Lord. Chaturvanse tato janma kapilasya tatpito pravirjyam tam anojampya ranetrai vimokshata after being free from 3 dates. First 4 verses, Kardam instruct Devuti. Maitreya vacha Niravedavadini mena evam Manordvetram munihi Dayalo shalinim aha शुक्लाभिव्याहृतम स्मरण. शुक्ला तो सब समझ गए, शुक्लाभिव्याहरण सुमरण, भगवान ने जो कहा था उनको याद आ गया. Recalling the words of the Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardam replied as follows to the Swambhu Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation. Maitreya said, merciful sage, remembering the words of Vishnu, then spoke to the praiseworthy daughter of Manu, who had spoken detachment from the material life. Kardam replies, okay. O great sage, then I will take birth in your life, in your wife Devuti as an expanded form, and will write the Tattva Santa. This is the words spoken in 3:21:32. So Kardam remembered that. क्या करदम को पहले मालूम नहीं था कि भगवान ने कहा था मेरे को बेटा होगा? जा क्यों रहे थे? In order to make Devuti detached. So Devuti's renunciation, she become renounced. That is the way. He could have already, मालूम था कि भगवान आएगा. He remember, he forget. इतना बड़ा योगी है, ये बात भूल कैसे जाएगा? और भगवान बेटा आएगा, ये भी भूल सकता है क्या? नहीं भूल सकता है. लेकिन he has done this to awaken the renunciation and detachment in Devuti. ये इसका रीजन लग रहा है. ऋषिर्वाचा माखिदो राजपुत्रिथम आत्मानं प्रत्या अनंदिते भगवांस्ते अक्षरो ग्रभम अदोरत संप्रपतस्यते. Okay. The sage said, do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son. Do not be disappointed. Kardam Muni encouraged his wife not to be sorry, thinking herself unfortunate because Supreme Personality Godhead by his incarnation was going to come from her body. O woman who cannot be criticized, anindite, do not lament. Verse number 3. Other thoughts, preaching. Combination of encouragement and enlightenment, like Kardam is doing. Here, he encourages and Kapil will enlighten. Encouragement, preaching, and combination of encouragement and enlightenment. So somebody should encourage and somebody should enlighten. आप लोगों को मंदिर में ले आए encourage करके, और यहाँ गुरुजी उनको enlighten करें. That's what it means. Practical, इसको कैसे apply करेंगे? We will just go and bring the people to the spiritual master that he enlighten. So we encourage them for a spiritual life and they should be enlightened by, क्योंकि कर्दम encourage कर रहा है और कपिल enlighten करेगा. This is a good combination of two things. 3. धृतः व्रतासि भद्रं ते दमेन नियमेन च तपोद्रवेण दानैश्च श्रद्धया चेशवरं भज। आखिरी आखिरी दिन है। अभी गया होता तो ये आता। हरे कृष्णा राम सिंह, अभी टाइम पड़ा था, मैंने 4:30 भी नहीं हुआ है। वो अध्याय पूरा हो गया, मैंने ये नहीं कहा क्लास खत्म हो गई। आपने देवती की तरह आधा सुना। आपको डिटेच में मैंने डे कहा था, लास्ट वर्ड्स ऑफ द डे। ओके, प्रसाद के आने के पहले वाला डे। ओके ओके। धृतव्रतासि भद्रं ते दमेन नयमेन च तपोद्रविणं दानैश्च श्रद्धया चेशेषवरं भज। पढ़ने में अच्छा लग रहा है इसलिए जा नहीं रहेंगे ने, ना एग्जैक्टली स्पीकिंग। आप समझो ना समझो, लेकिन संस्कृत उच्चारण में देयर इज सम वाइब्रेशन एक्चुअली, वी डोंट नो इट बट इट वर्क्स। Prabhupada, these verses of Bhagavatam and themselves are mantra. By chanting them, there is a automatical vibration inside which is more powerful than understanding. लगता है कि नहीं? आपको ऐसे फीलिंग होती है ये पढ़ने से? उसको टेस्ट जब डेवलप हो जाएगी तो पढ़ना आना पहले आ जाए, तब हमको तो आता नहीं है इतना अच्छा, हम तो अंग्रेजी धक्का दे के पढ़ रहे हैं। कोई सही पढ़ने वाला हो तो इसमें रस बहुत आता है। सो कदम क्या कह रहे हैं सुनिए। यू हैव अंडरटेकिंग सेक्रेड वोज वर्तेना, गॉड विल ब्लेस यू, hence you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, dhamena, religious observance, austerities, and gifts of your money and charity. You are strong in woes, auspiciousness to you. Worship with faith the Lord using sense control, regulation, yamena, austerity, tapasa, and danena. In order to spiritually advance or to achieve the mercy of the Lord, one must be self-controlled in the following manner. He must be restrained in the sense gratification and must follow the rules and regulation of religious principles. Without austerity and penance, and without sacrificing one's riches, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Lord. Kardam Muni advised his wife, you have to factually engage in devotional service with austerity and penance, following the religious principle and giving charity. Then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you and He will come as your son. So, इसको आप apply करें अपने जीवन में. How you apply this in your life? In order to spiritually advance, we need mercy of Lord. To get mercy of Lord, what we should do? यमेना दमेना, हमारा यम क्या है? 4 रूल्स को रेगुलेशन को फॉलो करना। और हमारी ऑस्टेरिटी क्या है? What is the austerity of the devotee? Our sadhana. Our sadhana is our austerity. Prabhupada says tapasya for us is ekadashi, and वो हमने तपस्या छोड़ देंगे क्या? ये भी नहीं है। और क्या करोगे बोलो? आप एडवांसमेंट के लिए भगवान को प्रसन्न करने के क्या करोगे बताओ? What do you want to do? क्या करना है? श्लोक, शब्द के श्लोकों को लेके बोलिए। Unlike other women, you are not without pious actions. You have strong vows because you perform vows in your previous life. In this life, you have a strong determination. Also, this will be auspicious for you. अब देखो श्लोक को। धृतव्रता भद्रमते, भद्रमते. If you want blessing, then you do. They have this special vows. Damena niyamena. Nemen, to follow some rules, and tamena means to control senses. Tapo drivena danesha. Tapo means austerity. Drivena means some material things. Danena means given charity. तो अब आप क्या करेंगे? श्रद्धया, विथ फेथ. च ईश्वरम भजे, भज एंड वर्शिप द सुप्रीम लॉर्ड. च ईश्वर भजे. सो आप क्या करेंगे बताइए आपकी लाइफ में हमको. इफ वी वांट टू एडवांस इन स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ, व्हाट वी शुड डू?
with determination, practice bhajan ki follow the instructions.
भज ईश्वरम श्रद्धया. पहले तो श्रद्धा चाहिए, स्ट्रांग फेथ. श्रद्धा कौन देगा? श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया गुरुदेव. श्रद्धा कहाँ से आती? वो जिस भक्ति का बीज है वही श्रद्धा है बेसिकली. And the rules and regulation of devotional service is Shraddha. So following the rules and regulation of devotional service. और क्या करेंगे स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस होना है तो? भगवान हमारे पुत्र के रूप में आए ना आए, लेकिन भगवान हमारे स्वामी के रूप में हमारे जीवन में आए, हम उसके सेवक बन जाएं, ये तो होना चाहिए ना. ये क्वेश्चन मैं कभी आपसे पूछा होगा या पूछता हूँ, आपको याद होगा नहीं. हु इज कृष्ण? Supreme Personality of Godhead. All attractive. Swarat. Huh? Son of Mother Yashoda, Yashoda Nandan. Sarva Karan Karanam. Krishna? All attractive. All enjoyer, Bhoktaram. Huh? Satvatam Pati. आपने दीक्षा ली तो आपके नाम के पीछे क्या लगाया? तो आपको आंसर देना है, कृष्णा इज माय मास्टर, आई एम हिज सर्वेंट. आई एम द सर्वेंट ऑफ कृष्णा. जिस दिन ये आंसर देना सीखा, उस दिन समझो कि आप स्पिरिचुअली एडवांस हो रहे हो. आपका संबंध क्या है कृष्ण से? अभी आप कोई संबंध नहीं बता रहे हो. कृष्ण ये है, कृष्ण वो है, बट ही हैज रिलेशन विद यू. भाई अब कोई हनुमान जी से आके पूछे कोई राम क्या कौन है, तो भगवान कहेगा क्या? क्या कहेगा? मेरा स्वामी है, मैं उसका सेवक हूं. अर्जुन से पूछो कृष्ण कौन है, क्या कहेगा? भगवान कहेगा क्या? इज माय फ्रेंड. और यशोदा से पूछो कृष्ण कौन है, क्या कहेगी? माय सन. और गोपी से पूछो कृष्ण कौन है, क्या कहेगी? हाँ, माय बिलव्ड है. तो आपका कृष्ण क्या लगता है? आपने संबंध स्थापित किया ही नहीं है अभी तक, तो कहां से आप आगे बढ़ोगे बताइए? हाउ विल यू एडवांस अंटिल अनलेस यू कृष्णा इज एटलीस्ट मेरा स्वामी है, मैं उसका सेवक हूं. जीवेर नित्य दास, ये हमारा स्वरूप है. ये क्यों नहीं सीधा कहते हैं पहले? कौन है कृष्णा? जीवेर स्वरूप कृष्ण नित्य दास, मेरा स्वामी है, मैं उसका सेवक हूं. ये पहला हमारी ममत्व तो हो ना कृष्ण की ओर. इससे पहले हमारी भक्ति शांत भाव में होती है. जब तक ममत्व नहीं आता है तब तक भक्ति वास्तव में शुरू नहीं होती है. महाप्रभु ने 4 ही भाव माने हैं, 5वां माना ही नहीं है. शांत को भाव ही नहीं माना है. कृष्ण मेरे हैं, ये आपके मन में आए. कहां है कृष्ण? कोई कहे माला में हाथ डालो, बोला कृष्ण यहां है, हरे कृष्ण जप रहा हूं, ये कृष्ण इसी नाम में है. कृष्ण कहां है? मेरे हृदय में. माला जो मेरी है इस तरह में, इसी को रोज इसके साथ बात करता हूं. ये मेरा कृष्ण से रोज बात करने का, ये मेरा मीटिंग, रोज मेरा मीटिंग टाइम है कृष्ण के साथ. सुबह बैठ के 2 घंटे उससे बात करता हूं. कृष्ण इज मेरा स्वामी है. होगा, सबका होगा, बड़ा है, महान है, कुछ भी है, लेकिन मेरा क्या है? ये वास्तव में हमारे स्पिरिचुअल एडवांसमेंट के लिए कृष्ण के साथ संबंध हमारा बनाया जाता है, लेकिन हम जानते नहीं. हम उसको सीरियस ले ही नहीं रहे अभी तक. दीन बंधु दीनानाथ, कृष्ण बलराम मेरो नाथ, मेरी डोरी तेरे हाथ. ये हमारा मंत्र है असल में। भाई सब गरीबों का नाथ हो तो कृष्ण बोला मेरा नाथ, मेरा तो वो नाथ है, सबका नाथ कोई होगा। हमारी डोरी उसके हाथ में, हमने अपने आप को उसके हवाले कर दिए। अब जैसे वो चलाए, आपका आपका नेचर बनना चाहिए ऐसा, आपका जो स्वभाव ऐसा बनना। उठते बैठते अब मुझे लेने आते हो, मैं क्या बोलता हूँ उधर, कोरमा प्रभु, हाँ नौकरी करने चलना है, क्या बोलता हूँ, मेरी सेवा है ये। पहले मैं दिमाग में ये सोचा हूँ कि मैं दास हूँ, ये तो मेरे दिमाग में है ना, मैं सेवा करने चलना है। उठते बैठते ये विचार हो कि मैं सेवक हूँ, तो ये आपके स्वरूप का बोध तो होना चाहिए ना। तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम अपने इनर डेवलपमेंट कुछ करें। हमारी इनर डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो रही है, एक्सटर्नल सेवा तो हो रही है, लेकिन इनर डेवलपमेंट हमारा जो अंदर से भाव जागृत होना चाहिए वो करना चाहिए। कृष्ण मेरा है, सबका है लेकिन मेरा है, पर्सनल मेरा उनसे रिलेशन है, बहुत जरूरी है जी। बोलिए नेक्स्ट, एक चौथा श्लोक तो पढ़ते हैं, फिर देखें क्या होता है। अदर थॉट, द मर्सी वॉज देयर बट शी स्टिल हैड टू परफॉर्म sadhana with faith, etc. As indicated here, Srila Prabhupada said many times that we should just hold his dhoti and he will take us to the spiritual world. But that was actually just for encouragement. One actually has to perform sadhana with determination. Sadhana with determination. Encouragement or enlightenment. Verse number 4. Sattavya aradhita shuklo vittan vanna mana mamakam yashah chetate hridaya granthim औदार्यो ब्रह्म भावना। छेताते हृदय ग्रंथिम, इसका अर्थ क्या है? हृदय की गांठ को छिन्न भिन्न करने के। छेताते विल कट दी नाट ऑफ द हार्ट। ये कहीं और नाट ऑफ द हार्ट पढ़ा है क्या? हृदय ग्रंथि छिद्यंते, हृदय छिद्यंते, सेम वर्ड, छिद्यंते हृदय ग्रंथि। वो ग्रंथि है क्या? व्हाट इज दैट नॉट? अहम ममेति, व्हाट इज दैट कॉल्ड? फॉल्स ईगो इज द नॉट। फॉल्स ईगो इज द नॉट। कहीं कहीं आपको नॉट के लिए फॉल्स ईगो तो ऑलवेज मिलेगा, कहीं कहीं मिलेगा इग्नोरेंस। Ignorance of what? Ignorance of the nature of the soul, which means false ego. I am body. So not is false ego. ट्रैक्टर ट्राली देखा है? काम कौन करता है? ट्रैक्टर। सामान किसके ऊपर है? ट्राली को। दोनों को बीच में कनेक्ट कौन करता है? एक हुक को। ये फॉल्स ईगो हुक है, जो हम सोल को ये सारी शरीर का भार खींच के और के संबंधियों को लेके चलना पड़ रहा है, ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ द फॉल्स ईगो। इसको खोल दो, आप आजाद हो, घूमते फिरो, कुछ उठाने की जरूरत नहीं। जस्ट ये हुक है, इसको खोल देना है और कुछ नहीं करना। वो ये मुश्किल भी नहीं है। वो इंजन के साथ इतने हुक लगे, पूरी गाड़ी उसके साथ खींची जाती है। हुक ही तो होता है एक। हाँ, वो ऐसे हमारी सारी फैमिलियाँ इसको दूसरा हुक लगा लो, वो परंपरा में हुक को अटका दो, वहां से निकाल के दुनिया से भगवान के भक्तों के साथ हुक को लगा लो, तो पूरी गाड़ी खींची जाएगी ऊपर, नो प्रॉब्लम। सो फॉल्स। ये क्या है? अब पहला पढ़िए। सतव्य आराधित, जब आप उसकी आराधना करोगे, किसकी? शुक्लो, भगवान विष्णु की। वितन वन माम कम यश, वो मामकम यश है, वो हमारा यश बढ़ाएगा और हृदय के सारी अहंकार को छिन्न भिन्न कर देगा। औदार्य, वो बड़ा उदार है। ब्रह्म भावन, आपको मुक्ति के रास्ते पे ले जाएगा। अब एक शब्द वित्तन, वित्त का मतलब वितरण करना। वो मेरे यश को वितरण करेगा, तुम्हारे यश को वितरण करेगा। कौन? कपिल देव। अब पढ़िए, द पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉड हेड being worshipped by you will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahm. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The Lord, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes to disseminate spiritual knowledge for the benefit of all people, he generally descends as the son of a devotee, being pleased by the devotee's devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the father of everyone. No one, therefore, is his father. But by his inconceivable energy, he accepts some of the devotees as his parents and descendants. It is explained here that spiritual knowledge vanquishes the knot of the heart. The matter and spirit are knotted by the false ego. Is it clear? अब मैटर क्या है? बॉडी, और स्पिरिट क्या है? सोल। उन दोनों को कंबाइंड किसने किया है? हाँ, फॉल्स ईगो ने। ट्रैक्टर और ट्राली, ये समझ लो। लगता है कि ट्रैक्टर भार उठा रहा है, ट्रैक्टर नहीं उठा रहा है, ट्राली उठा रही है, सिर्फ हुक ने अटकाया। जस्ट अनडू दैट एंड ऑल प्रॉब्लम इज सॉल्व्ड। फॉल्स ईगो इज गॉन, प्रॉब्लम इज सॉल्व्ड। फॉल्स ईगो कैसे जाता है पता है ना? महत सेव्य। किसी के सामने छोटा होने से, छोटा किसके सामने हम होते हैं? गुरु के। Until unless one accepts spiritual master, false ego will always become more strong. अपने से बड़े के शरण में जाने से फॉल्स ईगो छोटा होने लगता है। आपने देखा, एक लाइन निकाली, किसी ने कहा इसको काटे के बगैर छोटा करके दिखाओ, बड़ी लाइन उसके साथ में निकाल ली, वो छोटी हो गई ना। तो हमको छोटा होना है तो अपने से बड़े का शरण लेना पड़ेगा। हमारे जीवन में कोई न कोई स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर और सीनियर जीवन कोई ऐसा हो जिसके सामने हम अपने आप को शरणागत समझें कि उसके शेल्टर में हो, तो फॉल्स ईगो आस्ते आस्ते छोटा होने शुरू हो जाएगा। फॉल्स ईगो इज ए नाट। और नाट, बालों में आपकी चुटिया में कभी नाट आती है, खुलती है? काटनी पड़ती है। खुलती है? कभी खुलती है? नहीं खुल सकती। कभी धागे फंस जाते हैं, काटने पड़ते हैं, खुलती नहीं है। ये काटनी पड़ती है, खुलती नहीं है। छिंदन्ते असंग शस्त्रेण छित्वा, इसको काटना पड़ेगा। हृदय ग्रंथि, false ego, this identification of oneself with the mirror, which is called Hridaya Granthi, exists for all conditioned soul, and it becomes more and more tightened when there is too much affection for sex life. The explanation was given by Lord Rishabh to his sons that this material world is an atmosphere of attraction between male and female. That attraction takes the shape of knot in the heart, and by the material affection, it becomes still more tight. For example, for people who hanker after material possession, society, friendship, and love, this knot of affection becomes very strong. It is only by Brahma Bhavan, the instruction by which spiritual knowledge is enhanced, that knot in the heart is cut to pieces. No material weapon is needed to cut this knot, but it requires bona fide spiritual instruction. Kardam Muni instructed his wife, Devhuti, that the Lord would appear as her son and disseminate spiritual knowledge to cut the knot of material identification. He will cut material knowledge. He will cut material knowledge, the knot of ankar in the heart. Audarya means a son, born in the womb. There's another meaning of Audarya. Brahma Bhavana means teacher of the Brahm. Okay, We end it today. हो गए 4:30 से थोड़े ऊपर. Finish. 5 to 9 appearance of Lord Kapil. कल कपिल देव का जन्म होगा. हरे कृष्ण. धन्यवाद. हरे कृष्ण.